Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Hotspur House. I'm Tobey from _Spurs Center. Today we're going to be going over the amazing Southampton game where we won 5-2. We'll be reviewing the Europa League game and we'll be previewing Newcastle. Today I am joined once again by Charlie from N17 Nation. How you doing, Charlie?
Yeah, I'm great. So I'm guessing we're first going to talk about the Southampton game.
Yep.
And I must admit, I haven't enjoyed a game like that in a while.
I don't think any of us have. It was fantastic.
Yeah, honestly. Yeah. So that's the first time we've scored 5 goals in a while. And I mean, after the first half, it wasn't going well. In the first half, it wasn't very good. But that last minute goal in the first half saved our game pretty much. We're also joined by Bodhi. So what do you think, Bodhi?
Well, I enjoyed the game, but I didn't like how reliant we were on Kane and Son. No, we didn't really. It was only them two. If we were missing like one of them, we probably would have lost it. So.
Well, depends how you see that, because most of the goals were created by Celso and Ndombele finding the passes to Kane and Son. So, there's different ways to think about it. I mean, the last goal where the ball was, actually, was it the last one or the fourth one? I don't know, where they were attacking and then we just won the ball in defence and just straight away up the pitch, and a great ball to Kane and then to Son. I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't agree with you with that one because it was a really real team effort. It's just that Kane and Son happened to be on the end of the passes.
Yeah, I agree with that. Bodhi, of course, is from thfc.house for the listeners. But overall, I think I'm going to have to agree with Charlie and disagree with you, Bodhi. I think that it was a moment of magic from Ndombele in the middle to create the first goal. I think it was
no,
good.
Don't get me wrong. Ndombele was fantastic. The midfield was class, but for the end result, at the end of the day, they're the ones who scored the goals and got the assists. They created the chances, but they weren't the one that got the assists and the goals.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, though. I get where you're coming from, and that's what we were.
Something that Spurs usually lack a lot is the end result. They're able to create stuff, but we're never able to finish it. And it just so happened that we were able to that game. So
yeah, we definitely need to our midfield, like we were talking about when we were previewing the season, and with the Everton, when we were reviewing the Everton game too. This is a big season for all of our midfielders, really. Ndombele, Dele, Lo Celso, Højbjerg. It's his debut season, and we need all of them to show up. We need all of them to contribute, especially Dele, Lo Celso, and Ndombele, to our goals and assists. And that's something that didn't happen really last season for Lo Celso and Ndombele, a little bit for Dele. I guess you could track it for Lo Celso to him. He was playing farther back, and that's what we've been saying about Dele for ages. But what do you, Charlie? What did you think about the goals that Southampton scored against us?
Oh wow! I was really annoyed after the first goal. That was so pathetic defending. You can blame Sanchez or Dyer, but that was all Dyer.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that Southampton beat us on a route one, I mean, it's just humiliating, to be honest. I thought that the game was over there. We just weren't looking very good in the first half. And that pass, it was just way too easy. And the fact that we let Ings score from that angle, I mean, it's a great finish, but really, I mean, you can even argue that Luis could have done better, but I don't blame him. It's all Dyer, really. As we said in the last episode, he's just too slow. We'll talk about Shkendija later and the impact he could have on our squad. But one thing that I really want to point out, last episode, the episode before, I mean, I've not been fair to Winks, okay?
Yeah.
He has been absolutely fantastic in the last 2 or 3 games. We were even saying, I mean, Davies is the Winks of defence, but that's not the point. Winks is actually, I mean, yes, he's not outstanding in either defence or attack, but he's been so consistent and quality. I mean, his performance against Southampton was crucial, and really, if he can keep playing like that, I wouldn't even mind him starting every game. But also we'll be talking about Ndombele a lot. But yeah, now on to Tobey or Bodhi.
Yeah, I'll take it from here. I was just gonna say, so the midfield we started with on Sunday, if I'm not wrong, was Ndombele, Højbjerg, and Winks, and I think Mourinho's trying to groom Winks into a more of like a defensive midfielder role, and he's trying to like develop the defensive side of his game more. And I'd like to see us as a team. I'd like to see Højbjerg and Ndombele and Lo Celso. I mean, I know that's what every Spurs fan has been saying for
we saw
since we signed them.
Shkendija.
Yeah, a little bit, but like it wasn't a lot. And then, but I'd like to see them both start against Chelsea in our Carabao Cup game. We'll talk about that in our next pod. But I think that it would be so good because Ndombele and Lo Celso are our only two players that can find a pass between the lines and really get us into that position where we're able to score goals.
Talking about Lo Celso, I think he's definitely. People can argue with me, but I think he's our best player after Kane and Son when it comes to actual talent and quality. Because the fact of the matter is, the last goal we scored against Southampton, that magnificent chipped pass from Lo Celso to, was it Lamela? And then Lamela shoots and Kane scores. That was all Lo Celso. And yes, and Ndombele only went off at half time because he had that yellow card, I think. So Jose didn't want to risk it. But when Lo Celso came on, he also changed the game. That's why we need Ndombele and Gio together, because clearly they are absolute attacking force when it comes to their passing. And also, Højbjerg was actually good against his old club, definitely. Improvement on the Everton and Plovdiv performance.
I agree with that.
Davies was, again, our worst player by far. A few stupid passes and everything, so I think it's the end for Davies. Sadly, Reguilón, which really annoys me, can't play. He can't play on Sunday or Tuesday, so that's really frustrating.
I think Davis. I don't think he's done. I think he will be at the club for a while longer.
Yeah, but he's not.
I mean, he'll be backup, and I think it's important to have Davis, who's a more experienced left back, when we have players like Sessegnon, Reguilón, and Dennis Kirkin. We're all trying to develop into the first team, and it's good to have someone that can kind of mentor them in that way. But Bodhi, what do you think about our left back situation and Ben Davis, and should he be playing games?
Oh, can I say?
Oh my God! No way! No.
Manchester United scored, didn't they?
No.
Too.
They blowed the final whistle, and then they got the game back because it was a pen for Fernandes in the 90th. I mean, in the 100th minute. Is this oh my? They ended the game. Oh my God! This luck for Man U, I can't take it. Okay, so let's keep talking.
Yeah, Bodhi, I think you were going to talk about the left back situation.
Oh, I wanted to talk about the overall team, actually.
All right.
I agreed with you what you said about Winks, how he's trying to turn into a defensive mid, because realistically, with our team, the holding midfield area is stacked, and Højbjerg is our only real defensive midfielder. And if something I've realized is Winks and Højbjerg, our midfield it's broken down when we have Winks and Højbjerg playing, because they're too similar. So
I agree with that.
They're gonna end up. I think the only way it can work is they're gonna end up having to battle for a first team space, and neither of them can play in the same team together. Like if you look at in the game when Winks and Ndombele played, Winks played so much better because he didn't have Højbjerg there with him. Because they're just too similar to be playing in. You can't have two of the same players playing in the team together.
Yeah.
And
I
then
agree with that.
On the first goal, it was a good finish from Danny Ings. After the game, I kind of had different lights on the players. I thought I'm now starting to think more that Dyer is a bit. I've been overhyping him a bit, and I think maybe we should sell him. And I've started to hate Sanchez a little less. Let's say. I thought he played pretty well that game. His defending wasn't the strongest, but he was picking out passes quite well, which is good to see.
Yeah. I mean, we're not gonna sell Dyer. It's just he just signed a new contract at the end of last season, and Mourinho clearly really likes him. Uh, but I'm hoping. I think realistically, if we sign a new center back this window, it'll be whichever center back we sign, and then Dyer next to them. Which isn't what I would prefer, but I think it's still a step in the right direction. Especially with the amount of games we're playing, there'll be a rotation.
I think he'll play Tanganga more.
Yeah, I'd like to see Shkendija once he comes back from his injury.
When you mentioned Tanganga, I was thinking, well, where is he? And then I found out it was because he had an injury. It was like, oh, right, okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
Because he started to break into the first team. He was fantastic. He was our best defender. And
yeah.
I think he should be our starter next to whoever we sign if we sign someone this window.
No, that's big praise. I think Shkendija is exceptional though. Yeah. I'd love to see him.
Also, on the left back, I honestly think Davies just isn't good enough. It's something I've realised about him is he's more inverted.
Yeah.
Like when he makes those runs up the pitch, his crossing isn't really that good. He's more of a player that'll run on the inside of the attack, and then he'll take the ball from inside and then play it short instead, which doesn't fit our team considering Son when he plays on the left side, he's right-footed and likes to cut in, which would make Davies have to run, would have to overlap instead. But yeah,
Davis, I thought Davis used to have really, really good crossing. Like he'd get the ball deep and he'd kind of whip it in, or not whip it in, but it'd kind of curl in. And
I remember that cross against Arsenal in 2018 when Davies pretty much won us the North London derby when Kane headed it from his stunning cross. That's what you're talking about.
Oh yeah, I was in the
he just doesn't seem to whip them anymore like that.
Yeah, I was.
You were in the stadium for that
game. I was in the stadium for that game. That was amazing. But see, the thing is, what I've noticed, we're watching some highlights about Regulian, whatever his name is. Yeah, he's very good.
I think.
Yeah, well, he's very good at he takes the ball deep and then can fly up the pitch and then whip in a fantastic cross. And he's more of an overlapping player than inverted, which will make Son benefit more playing on the left side.
Yeah.
That is very well said. I've watched his highlights, and he can he's similar. I find him similar to Robertson or Trent because they're both overlapping fullbacks, and his passing's a bit like Trent's. I mean, obviously not to that level, but you never know. He could get there, but the way he hits the ball and it flies from one side of the pitch to another, like his long passes are fantastic, and we could really use that because Tobey doesn't even seem to do that many long passes anymore, to be honest.
No, he still does them. As just with modern day football now, they've learned to adapt to long passes better, which makes it tougher for him to do what he used to do better. Back then, like in our season, like the Man City team, like passing around the back and all playing beautiful football, it was just starting to come through, which left weakness through long balls. And now that the modern game, managers are becoming more tactical and analysing every single move another manager or player can make. They're starting to get players that can cover every single patch, and players like Alderweireld can't really do what they do best. I think he's still a fantastic defender, but without his passing, he's not half the player.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Moving on from our center back situation, I want to talk about a player who I think has been treated. I mean, a little bit unfairly, considering what he's done. Just looking at this season, what he's done so far, it's Eric Lamela. For our goal against Southampton, it was Eric Lamela dribbling up the field. He hit it across, and keeper saved it, and it falls to Kane, and Kane scores. So it was essentially an assist from Lamela. And then against Shkendija in the Europa League qualifying game, he dribbled, or he got the ball from Son, and he scored. And it was against, I think, against Shkendija, the Europa League game too, where he dribbled through, and he had a shot, or no, it wasn't against Shkendija. It was against someone this season. No, he dribbled through, had a shot, it was saved, and Kane knocked it
I
in.
know what you're talking about.
Newcastle.
Listen.
It was against Newcastle.
Newcastle and Southampton. I noticed that identical goals, pretty much.
Yeah.
Lamela seems to be good at that. We don't credit Lamela enough. Coco is absolutely brilliant on this day. And against Shkendija, he was, I'd say, even the best player. He could have scored more than like three goals, pretty much could have scored.
Yeah. He definitely wasn't clinical.
Yeah, well, I've always had faith in him. I've always thought he was a pretty good player. A lot of fans, when I would tell them, they would think, like, oh yeah, more is way better, all this and that. Like, this was before Bergwijn signed and whatnot. Like, it was a general debate. Like more or Lamela. I always had faith in Lamela. I thought he played. When the game against United, when the no fans in the stadium just started to happen, we lost 1-0, I think.
We tied 1-1.
No, 1-1.
Oh yeah, 1-1. Yeah, I thought Lamela was the best player on the pitch that game, and he was playing central attacking mid, and I thought, he could do this more often if we give him the chance. And clearly,
but I think a very important.
According to sources before, it said that Jose was giving Lamela 9 games to prove himself, and he hasn't sold him yet. So maybe that's a sign.
A very important factor for me with these Europa League games against these clubs we don't even know are good for the team, because the team can because the team's under pressure, because these teams they can shock you sometimes, and that excellent goal, there's not much we could have done about that, and I was actually kind of scared for 5 minutes when they scored and stuff. And if we want to become a big club like Manchester City, Manchester City, they win these games like a routine. They just win 5-0 every time. They just do it so professionally. We always need to bottle it somehow. I mean, we still won, but you never know. If they had somehow some other lucky chance, they could have scored them 2-1.
I mean, we don't have oil,
and then it would have been a big problem. Yeah, that's not. But the thing is, we still should be going through these small teams easier than we are. Yeah. But still, a win's a win. But
No, but they have the players to do it. Like, if they were not winning these games, there'd be a serious problem within the club. We have too many average players in this team. If we want to get places, we need to at least get 4 world-class players in each position. A new centre back, a midfielder.
I'm sorry, but with this, if we do sign Skriniar, Jose has no excuses anymore. He's had Bale, Reguilon, Doherty, Skriniar, maybe Milik. This team now, we actually have good squad depth. I'm sorry, like we have Lo Celso on the bench, Ali on the bench. We have all these great players on the bench, and Jose, if we go on a bad streak of form, I wouldn't be shocked if he gets sacked, because Levy has given him everything he wanted at this point.
Exactly.
I even saw a rumor that Jose's expecting, after signing Skriniar and Milik, that he's expecting another defensive midfielder, another centre back, and a winger or something. Attacking midfielder like Coutinho.
I think, but I think after he signs Milik, Jose is recognised. Like, the only proper creative player is Lo Celso. Like, yeah, obviously, Ndombele's got flair. He's fantastic. He's one of my favourite players. He's amazing, but he plays more deep. He's more of a deep line playmaker where he picks out long passes and he's able to create stuff, but he's never up in the final third of the pitch like Lo Celso is. And I think Jose has realised that how important Lo Celso is, and if he's injured, we have no other player in the team like him that can do the same job that we desperately need. And a player like Coutinho would fix that instantly.
Well, one interesting thing about Lo Celso, he scored 16 goals in his last season for Betis, and since then he's only scored like 2 goals for us. And I don't know, maybe it's the tactics that Jose gives. Like maybe Jose tells him to pass it instead of shoot. I don't know, but like even against Southampton, Lo Celso had this huge chance in the this shot from the edge of the box, and he was a bit too slow to shoot it, and it got blocked. But I don't. Maybe it just feels like he's lost his confidence with shooting. Like
But the thing is, before in Betis, I don't know if you knew this, but at some points he actually played in a centre forward role. He's playing as a central midfielder, a central attacking mid. He has to stay outside the box and let them do the work.
No, that's not what I'm saying. It's just like he never seems to shoot. He's similar to Winks. Like when Winks gets into a good shooting situation, he never shoots. I mean, Winks is more understandable, but Lo Celso can definitely shoot from long range. I just don't get why he really just. It's like he's scared to shoot. I don't know. I hope he starts shooting more. But yeah, he's still class. But he should shoot.
I think we're going to see more shots from him this season. I think you can chalk his lack of goals up until this point, as Mourinho was also having to play him as more of a defensive mid.
Defensive, yeah.
Because we didn't.
But now
have
that Højbjerg's here, he should have more freedom.
He should be playing higher up the pitch and getting into those opportunities where he can score goals. So I think we will see some more goals.
Which he has.
Yeah. Which he had his opportunity and he did eventually take his shot. And I think there was another shot he had that just went wide. But I think he will see that it's an improvement he needs to make, and he'll work on it, and his shots will be better in no time, I'm sure.
But something I want to talk about that just crossed my mind. See, Oliver Skip, he's my favourite player in Spurs. When he comes back on loan, obviously Jose said about him how he could be a future captain. What effect do you think that would have on Winks or Højbjerg?
I think Skip would be playing deputy to Højbjerg, so they probably rotate a lot, or not a lot. Højbjerg, I'm thinking Højbjerg would probably play majority of the games, and Skip would rotate in for him. If we have a hectic schedule, Skip would come in or in the cup games.
But then what does that mean for Winks?
Winks isn't the same position, but yeah, talking about Skip,
he plays more defensive like Højbjerg and Skip.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but not. What I want to point out is Skip. What I've noticed. How old is he now? 20. He's a bit he's a bit slow at growing his ability, because I can't see way too much change between him now and him when he was 18. I mean, he hasn't been getting too much play time, but I think he won't become I don't think he'll become a starter until he's at least 23, which is another 3 years, because he seems to develop a bit slowly. But I'm sure he'll be class, but I just can't see him making the big step next season yet. I think another 1 or 2 years definitely until he can start playing consistently for us. But he's been actually quite good for Norwich for now, so we'll see what happens.
I disagree. I think when he comes back on loan, Jose's going to use him a lot.
But then what's the point of Højbjerg?
No, but
we need he wants 2 players in every position.
Yeah. No, that's what I'm saying. Now Jose has, when he gets Shkendija, he pretty much has 2 above average players in every position, and we haven't had that. Tottenham haven't. We've literally never had that. This is the best squad, and I don't care what people say. This is by actual quality the best squad we have ever had. Maybe not in the 60s or whatever, but when you look at the depth.
the 2016-17 season was the best squad we've ever had. I don't think it's...
We didn't have any
You're
depth then.
forgetting, in 16-17, football was a different thing. The league was different. Our best backup centre back was Kevin Wimmer, and we just didn't have we were class then, and our players were on form then, but we didn't have depth then either. We didn't have a class backup striker. We had Vincent Janssen. I mean, I think when it comes to actuals, I think we'd win the league with this squad in 15-16 or 16-17.
Yeah. I think that our starting squad in 16-17 was unbelievable, but the reason we lost and we didn't win the league that year was because we didn't have any depth. Our bench was Wimmer, Nkudu, Janssen.
I mean, shambolic, really, now that I think back.
Yeah, I mean, and now our bench is Lucas Moura, Steven Bergwijn, Dele Alli, center backs, Dyer, Alderweireld starting. Sanchez is on the bench. We have a two-time Premier League winning captain playing second goalkeeper for us. We have Serge Aurier, who started last season for us, on the bench now. We'll have Ben Davis on the bench, or not even on the bench, but just like as our secondary players.
Yeah, but when talking about Aurier, he really can't cross anymore. We've mentioned this before, but even against Shkendija, he can't cross anymore. He can't.
He's lost it for sure.
Actually, he did whip in two good crosses. I just remembered. But except for that, everything is blocked. Like one cross in 100 actually gets to a target. But what I wanted also, Doherty, he's been good. I'm not going to lie, he's been good. But against Southampton, I mean, he hasn't really stood out yet. I mean, it's only been 2 games, but he hasn't really stood out.
Let me say something about Doherty. So let's say, I know this is a very hypothetical situation, but let's say in that first game against Everton, his 1-2 with Kane goes in. He scores on his debut. That's one goal for Doherty. And then let's say that Son wasn't offside against Southampton, and the cross that comes in that he headed back to Kane.
Actually,
then he would have had a goal and an assist. In 2 appearances, he would have had 1 goal and 1 assist. So I think he's been very unlucky, and if he would have those, Spurs fans would be saying, "Oh, we've signed the next Trent Alexander-Arnold."
I'm talking more defensively, to be honest. He hasn't really.
But still, I think
he's been good though. But
that's the problem, though. It's hypothetical. It's not. It hasn't actually happened, so you can't really say it.
Yeah, if Son, I mean, you're right. It's a hypothetical, but
still, he was very unlucky with the offside against Southampton. Like 2 or 3 offsides that were so close. We could have won 8-2, really.
Yeah.
And also, he was so unlucky with the penalty given. He's in my fantasy team, and he got 0 points because that stupid penalty. Honestly, I thought that was a bit harsh. Yeah, it hit his hand, but literally the player kicked it into his hand, a bit like the Champions League final. I don't know.
Flashbacks.
Yeah. But I think we should talk a bit about Shkendija now, to be honest.
All right. Shkendija. Rumored that we are interested in him, that he wants to join Spurs. Talk that
I saw that Inter, that Levy's pulled off an amazing deal, and that Inter have now put their asking price down all the way to like 40 million, which is great. And I also saw that Tottenham need to offer a big price next week. I mean, 40 million plus if they want to sign him. So the first few days of next week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, will be crucial. And if we don't manage to get him, I think someone else will snap him up. So we need to be quick.
But here's the thing, right? If a club is gonna decrease in offer that much, Levy's gonna realise that, they're not doing it just to be nice. They're doing it because they need to get this player sold. They want to get this player sold. I think Levy's going to try and bargain it down. I think we're going to sign him for about 30 mil.
Well, that would be unbelievable. But,
I think
Levy's an absolute genius right now. But Shkendija, I don't understand Antonio Conte. I've always found him a bit weird. Even when he won the Prem with Chelsea, he's just a bit violent. And honestly, how can he not like Shkendija? Like, I don't think that he thinks that Shkendija is a bad player. He just doesn't want to play him because he doesn't like him. He's a bit like Jose, you know. He just hates certain players in the squad. It's just a bit weird, you know. I mean, Shkendija can't be that bad, as everyone sees him as a world-class defender, and then Conte wants to get rid of him so desperately. I don't understand really, but you know.
Yeah, it's interesting for sure.
But Shkendija certainly, even though he's tall, I noticed he can't score many headers because he hasn't got a goal or assist in the last two seasons. So we're not going to expect many goals or assists from him. But he can do long balls very well, though, I must admit. Also, he can play defensive mid, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's another good point. So he can play that defensive mid role if whenever Højbjerg is out or needs a break, and before Skip comes back.
Yeah.
And sorry, you just said something that I was gonna go on about.
What about Conte? What?
Oh, yeah. So Jose Mourinho. You were saying Jose Mourinho has like the certain players that he just doesn't like.
Oh yeah.
But so at the very beginning when Jose signed for Spurs, you saw in the documentary that he said that he didn't think Lo Celso had what it takes, and
I love
like
to
him.
see that when he.
So then Lo Celso had to prove himself and get back into the squad. Then he said that Ndombele, he has the talent, but he doesn't have the work ethic. And it took longer for Ndombele, but he's to the point now where we're 4 matches into the season and Ndombele has played in all 4 games. So Ndombele has risen to the occasion. He's proven Jose wrong, and he's ready to get minutes. And now Dele Alli is the player that Jose Mourinho is going after. And Dele needs to – I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with his managerial. I think it's brilliant because I think Lo Celso and Ndombele both became better players. But Dele needs to prove that he can go through the same thing and that he can prove himself. Yeah. He needs to prove Jose wrong and say that, no, I am a member of the first team. I'm going to be in every lineup this season. Put me in. I'll score goals. I'll provide assists. I'll be your best player. I'll get man of the match performances. And he needs to grab opportunities by the scruff of the neck. And I just don't think he has so far. But we'll see. He's not going to leave the club this summer. I'd be shocked if he left.
No, he won't. But Dele's performance against Shkendija was very interesting because I thought his ideas were good, like the through balls, the passes that he saw, the chances that he tried to create were good ideas, but he just kept over-hitting his passes. I thought he was a bit rash with his passing. It's like he was under pressure or something. I don't know. It's just half of his passes didn't get to the target, but it was good ideas, but I mean, it wasn't a bad performance, but it wasn't anything special either, if we're being honest.
Yeah. And obviously, I think everyone's talking about, he had that one golden opportunity, which, he put it on target, but it was saved. And then Bodhi's going to say it didn't happen, so don't talk about it. Like, it doesn't matter. But if Dele had scored, maybe we just have a little bit of a different view on him. Maybe Jose would as well.
Well, he just needs that goal. I was watching it with my dad, and my dad pointed out, like, I was like, oh, it's just against Shkendija. Like, I don't think if he scored, it would make much difference. But he pointed out that would be a huge confidence booster for him to score like that. And maybe he's right. I mean, Ali's definitely gone down in confidence recently with rumours of him getting sold and stuff. So hopefully we can see him grab a goal off the bench or maybe even starting against Newcastle. You never know. Yeah. He always seems to score a header against Newcastle. So
honestly, I think for me, I would like to see Dele start against Newcastle, not because I want to see Dele play, but because I want Ndombele and Lo Celso to play against Chelsea together. And I think the only way that's going to happen is if Ndombele. I don't think Ndombele is going to start on Sunday. I don't want him to either. I mean, obviously he's one of our best players, but he just played 90 minutes for the first time since last year. I think December 28th. So I think rest him Sunday. I'm not sure if he'll play. He might get like 10, 15 minutes at the end of the game. But I think that's okay. And then start him against Chelsea, because Chelsea, we win the game against Chelsea. we win one more game after that, and then we're in the semifinals, I believe. So
I also wanted to point out about the Carabao Cup, the fact that Levy and the board paid for the testing for Leyton Orient, and if they didn't pay, we would have been on a pitch with 18 guys that had, with a team of 18 players and staff that had corona. Oof.
well, that were
Who knows
exposed
what
to
would have
corona.
happened.
I think there was like 3 or 4 that had corona.
No, but I saw that there was like 18 members of the staff and players that had corona. I don't know. It could be the end of the season for Leyton Orient right now.
While I feel bad for them, it's really good for us that we didn't have to play them fitness wise. But I still feel bad for them. It's unfair.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate.
I think they know that they probably would have lost. I think they're just concentrating on getting the players back. To be honest.
Yeah, I bought a Leyton Orient jersey. It's shipping right now.
Wait, really? Why?
Yeah. Did you not see the thing that Spurs fans were buying Leyton Orient jerseys for to help with the money that Leyton Orient lost by not playing?
Oh wow! I didn't. That's really nice of the Spurs fans.
Yeah. It said that they made 20,000 in shop revenue from Spurs fans.
That's great.
Yeah. It's one of those moments where like you can just step away from the competitiveness.
They don't have a bad kit, you know. I could actually buy one. I don't know. I'm thinking of that. But yeah. Also, talking about Milik, I saw rumours that Milik's quite close to signing. Like Napoli have offered him to us because Napoli are desperate to get him out before the last year of his contract.
Yeah.
And they're pretty much offering him to us, and now Levy and Jose are deciding whether to step in and get him.
Now, this is we've talked about him before on the show, but Troy Parrott, what do you want to see from us this window in regards to he's going to be coming back next season? And do you want us to sign someone like Milik, who is not super young, but not super old either? I think he's like 20. He's 26, so he has
27.
a good amount of years in him. But
or do we go for Weghorst?
Yeah, or do we? I mean, I don't think we're gonna go for Weghorst. I mean, their chairman or manager or someone just said that he's not going anywhere. But because I think Troy Parrott is going to come back into the side, and I'd like to see him come back into the side and get minutes.
I know this is a bit weird, but I think we should go for Edin Dzeko.
Edin Dzeko from Roma.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Juventus just missed out on him. We could get him. He's a great player. He could be vital, really, but he's like 36, so it would only be one season. So
yeah, he's 34.
That would be the best situation for Parrott, if you ask me.
Yeah, for Parrott.
We really should have kept Llorente.
For who? Fernando. Yeah.
Is he still at Napoli?
I believe he is. Yeah. I don't know why we let him go. I think it would have been great for him to stay with us.
I can't believe you let him go after such an iconic season for Nando, honestly.
Yeah, he's still at Napoli. He's 35 years old.
You can still head it in though, so that's all we want.
Yeah.
Really.
He hasn't shrunk. He's still tall.
It doesn't matter whether it's with his head or with his arm at this point.
Or with his hip.
Yeah. Looking back at it, I kept saying it was his hip, but actually I think it was
his elbow. Yeah. I mean, it hit his elbow and then came off his hip. The goal shouldn't have standed, but I mean, I'll take it.
Yeah.
Oh, what a season that was in the Championship.
I just saw something, like on Instagram, Manchester United posted that they won 3-2, and even like the admin was shocked. Like he said, we win in he says unbelievable. So we win in unbelievable circumstances. Oh, I'm so annoyed about that, but it doesn't matter as long as we beat Newcastle. It doesn't matter really.
Yep, we gotta win a lot of our all of our upcoming games. We gotta beat Man United next week, and to be honest, they're not looking strong. They lost to Crystal Palace, and now they barely beat
Not at all. They were shambolic today. Rashford saved them, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing.
Now,
if we if we somehow get what's the date? It's 26th. We got it's the 8th of October. The deadline day ends, right?
The 5th.
Is it the 8th of October? The 1st?
I think it's the 5th.
Oh, right, the 5th. Then we got about a week to sign a striker and a centre back. But either way, if you get someone like Skriniar in before the United game, it's going to be an easy 3-0 win or something like that for us.
I don't know it depends on when we sign him, but
Yeah.
it would definitely be a confidence boost.
Sign
Similar
who?
to the Bale signing.
I think
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
Sergio
Skriniar.
would also play over
Uh-huh.
Davies.
Imagine the team up front: Kane, Son, Bale, maybe even the best front three in the league. In midfield, Lo Celso and Ndombele and Højbjerg. In defense, Reguilon, Doherty, Skriniar, and either Sanchez or Alderweireld. And then in goal, Hugo. I mean, that would just be.
That's a stunning squad right there.
I can't even imagine it.
Oh my God. I mean, we've said this at the end of every podcast, I think, but it's a good time to be a Spurs fan.
Yeah,
Daniel Levy is finally investing in the team. We're starting
You
to
say
get the results.
but we have the squad, and in an important game, you could definitely see us playing that team.
Yeah. Dyer is going to be starting unless he's injured or suspended. But
Yeah.
I mean, it's still. I think Dyer has a lot to prove this season too, especially to the fans. I mean, in his first game against Manchester United, I thought he played really, really intelligently, and he made an excellent tackle to deny Martial from getting a chance to score. And then, I mean, he gave away the penalty, which some Spurs fans have said that it was a flop. I mean, Pogba definitely went down easy, but it was a penalty.
I think it was a little. I think Spurs fans were harshing him after the game. I was praising him. I said, despite him giving up the pen, he was the strongest defender in the team, and everyone in the comments was like, "Oh no, he's shambolic. Get him out. He gave a pen." And he's like, "That's one mistake. He was the strongest defender in the team. Every other player made mistakes, but they were covered up because Dyer saved him every time." But they were too reliant on Dyer, and then when Dyer made a mistake, there was no one to cover for him.
Yeah.
And then Dyer got the blame for it.
Mm-hmm.
I think if he played the way he did again on that United game against other teams, he'd be one of the best defenders in our squad.
Yeah, I think that's what Jose is trying to get out of him.
Sorry if you disagree, but that's the honest truth. And you'd be lying to yourself if you disagreed.
Yeah, like I said, I thought he played exceptionally. I mean, he had that moment where, to be completely 100% honest, I thought it was stupid to go in against Pogba like that. But after the rest of the game, I mean, he played very, very well. He was solid, and unfortunate that it happened that way. But we move. So tomorrow is Newcastle. What do we want to see in the starting lineup from Spurs? Charlie, we'll start with you.
Oh, my starting lineup. I think we should start Bergwijn. So Bergwijn, Kane, Son, Højbjerg, Lo Celso, Winks. I want to say Ali, but I just can't see him starting. And then
Sorry, who was in your midfield? It was Højbjerg, Winks, and
Lo Celso.
Gotcha.
And then defense, Doherty, Tobey, Sanchez, and sadly, Davies and Hugo in goal.
All right, Bodhi, what do you want to see in your starting lineup?
For me, it's an interesting one. Hear me out on this. I'd go for 4-4-2. I'd say I'd want. Well, obviously, you'd have to go for Davies because you don't have Sergio. Hugo, I'd say Alderweireld and Dyer. I'd give Aurier. I'd put Aurier in right back. In the center of the park, I would have Winks and Doherty. And on the wings, I'd have Dele, Lamella, and up top, Son and Kane.
That is an interesting lineup for sure.
But the thing is, right, Doughty in Wolves has played in the centre of the park and he's been decent.
He wants to play him in. Oh wow, interesting.
I didn't know that.
But can I just point something out? Well, hey, the Tottenham under-23s just beat Arsenal under-23s in the Youth
Yeah.
Premier League 1-0, and now our youth team is top of the Youth Premier League, so that's great.
We love to see it.
And also we've I just didn't notice that, but we've won our last 5 meetings against Newcastle, home or away.
Mhm.
So
That's
yeah.
interesting.
I
Yeah,
think we've spoken quite a lot in the pod. I mean, I think we've spoken about everything we were planning to. So I think this is the end of the pod.
yeah.
by now.
I'll drop my starting lineup for tomorrow. I'm
yeah.
gonna go with a predicted lineup. I think it's gonna be a 4-2-3-1. Lloris in goal. Left back Davis, center backs Tobey and Dyer, right back Doherty, two like kind of deeper lying center mids as Lo Celso and Højbjerg, and then the 3 is going to be Son, Dele, and on the right side Lucas, and then Kane. I think it's a strong-ish squad. It's a pretty strong squad. I mean, it's a starting lineup basically. But I think that leaves it open for us to go into Tuesday against Chelsea with the likes of Bergwijn, Dombele, Lo Celso, like take Lo Celso off early against Newcastle. Kane and Son should be ready to maybe take all those 3 off a little bit early in the game, and then we're ready to go.
This game against Newcastle, Davies is going to really have to perform. Because Alan St. Maximin, I'm pretty sure he plays on the right side. You have Almiron, St. Maximin. Yeah, Almiron. The 2 of them, they're two best attackers, and they play more on the right side, from their perspective, which for our side would be the left side. So Davies would have to perform, otherwise they're going to tear us apart up top.
Alex Newcastle is a doubt for the game, though. He hurt his ankle in the last game.
And also, it's really weird. Like Newcastle lost 3-0 to Brighton at home, which is really bad. And then they went on to beat Morecambe 7-0 as Joelinton scored a banger. I can't believe it. So Newcastle very on and off.
Yeah. Let's go for score predictions. I'm gonna go with first clean sheet of the season and in all competitions, 2-0 to Spurs. I'll probably have a different prediction tomorrow morning when the lineups come out, but for now I'm gonna go 2-0 Spurs.
For me, it's gonna be a 7-2 loss. I'm joking. I'm gonna say 2-0.
2-0.
Okay, hear me out, guys.
Oh boy.
I'm going with a 5-0 win.
Ooh.
Because we're really in form right now. I can actually see Kane and Son ripping them apart again, with Bergwijn and Lo Celso joining in. And Newcastle are in bad form, and they have Joelinton and Andy Carroll up front, and Maximin, who was the only player that really made problems for us last season. I think we're going to get an easy clean sheet and 5 goals. So yeah.
No, I don't agree with that because see Newcastle, they don't play like Southampton. Southampton had a very, very, very high line, and I think Newcastle will.
Yeah, but think about it. If Newcastle can let 3 goals into Brighton.
Think about unless Kane scores like 3, gets a hat trick, like all from outside the box screamers. You can't really see a result like that happening.
I mean, if we get a goal or inside the first 10 minutes, then I could definitely see a more of a route.
It's all about the early goal. That's why we beat Shkendija, and that's what was the problem against Plovdiv. We needed an early goal, and we got such a late goal against Plovdiv. We just need.
It opens.
When we get the early goal, we tend to win.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because once you score that early goal, then they have to step out and they have to try to score against us, and then that leaves the gaps open for Son, for Lucas or Bergwijn or Lamela for Kane, for Lo Celso to find the passes through, and it depends. Yeah, it really depends on if we score that early goal or not. But I think it'll be 2-0. It'll be comfortable. But I mean, I'd love to see us win 5-0, but I don't know.
I told you not to judge me. I just said hear me out. So yeah, I'm optimistic. So yeah, good time to be a Spurs fan, as we always say. Hopefully it won't go downhill anytime soon. Jose is a year. Come on, you Spurs, and that's the end of the podcast.
Any last words, Bodhi, before we end the pod?
No, not really.
Alrighty. Thank you for listening. This has been another episode of the Hotspur House. I was joined by Charlie from N17 Nation and Bodhi from thfc.house. I'm, of course, Tobey from _Spurs Center. Thank you for listening. Come on, you Spurs.